John Wick is tough and
I get it.
but it doesn't mean that he can't be funny, at least behind the scenes.
This is fun. It's fun, yeah.
So are you ready to see a lighter side of John Wick? Then let's start. Combat scenes.
Could literally have all of the behaviors, leaning and hitting each other.
Sure, on the set, these sequences look a bit different to what we see in the movies because, obviously, the actors aren't really punching, shooting, and choking each other. And I must say, some of the scenes would look pretty weird if we watched them without the special effects and sounds they add in post-production. They're shooting each other, but there's no sound, so it makes the sequence look really funny. Am I right? And overall, most of the epic scenes look very different if you watch the footage before the CGI team do their thing. Like this weird-looking helicopter that follows John and his pursuers in Chapter 3. Or this carriage that films him running on the street in the pouring rain. Or this scene, where Keanu rides a horse with giant suspenders attached to his body. And he had to do it over and over again for multiple takes. Yeah, I get it. This is how it's done in most epic movies. But when you watch it on the big screen, you never think about it, right? And do you recognize this behind-the-scenes shot with Mark Dacascos from Chapter 3? It looked cool in the movie, but was pretty funny on the set. Keanu, it's impossible not to like you. On the set of John Wick, this guy demonstrated his professionalism on multiple occasions. Reeves trained for months to get in shape and do everything John Wick had to do in the film. And by training, I don't mean that he hit the gym for an hour a day or did push-ups in the morning. 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, Reeves did gun training, martial arts training, driving training, and many other kinds of training. You rarely see an actor who does that much on set. Keanu was always the first man to arrive and the last man to leave. That's how committed he was.
He's always there. He's always been incredibly involved.
He's a real professional. By the way, did you know that while filming the sequence in the nightclub in the first film, Keanu had 104-degree fever? And he still did most of his stunts by himself, like it was no big deal.
Fever schmeaver.
What an amazing actor he is, right? But it doesn't mean that he always gets everything right in the first shot. He can be so relatable. Who doesn't love him? But we'll get to praising Keanu's humbleness and kindness a bit later. Right now, back to the fights. Of course, Reeves wasn't the only actor on the set who underwent extensive training for his part. Adrienne Palicki, who played Miss Perkins in the first film, also trained a lot to match her co-star.
Gets the choreography really quick and she's tough and doesn't complain. So she fit in well with the Wick formula.
You might remember that their fight scene was pretty intense.
Breaking furniture. Just a lot of breaking going on in there.
But all their efforts paid off because the sequence looked just perfect. And of course, although it was extremely hard, they still had time to share a laugh. Yeah, these guys were having a lot of fun. Fast forward to Chapter 3, Parabellum, we also have to admit that Halle Berry turned out to be one tough cookie when it came to training for her role.
When Halle said she wanted to do that, Chad said, "Here you go." And Halle said, "Thank you, sir. Can I please have some more?"
When she was offered a part in John Wick, she didn't hesitate for a second.
When Chad reached out to me and asked me about the third one, I went running over there.
She didn't even want to read a script or anything. She just said yes right away. That's how much she wanted to be a part of the John Wick universe. But of course, the training process wasn't easy for her.
Probably the hardest 6-7 months I think I've experienced in my professional life.
But despite all the challenges, she didn't even think of quitting because our Halle is a real fighter. And when you think about it, she didn't really have much choice. She knew that she had to fight alongside Keanu and look good next to him. Given how committed he is, Halle knew that her training had to be vigorous.
Also, a lot of fun, and I have a great team of people that are teaching me and training me.
And a large part of her training included working with 2 huge dogs who look like real assassins on the big screen.
It's just looking, and they're doing some amazing stunts, but they're also really sweet.
How cute is that? To make this fantastic fight scene with the dogs, Hallie had to spend 4 days a week, 2 to 3 hours a day training with them. She was supposed to learn to command them just the way their trainer would.
It was a real relationship that was built.
Although all the sequences were rehearsed perfectly, something happened on the set that no one in the John Wick crew expected. There were so many cats wandering around in the streets that when the dogs saw them, they forgot that they were in a movie. Not like they even cared about it in the first place, right? And they'd immediately start chasing them.
And so then we would be doing a scene and then, cat, cat, cat!
Luckily, they still managed to film these epic scenes. So yeah, Hallie definitely had quite a few amazing moments on the set of John Wick. But while she was training with her dogs, Keanu didn't want to just sit back and relax. Instead, he offered to film a scene where John is riding a horse. And since he's John Wick,
He's not looking where he's shooting, because it's John Wick.
it obviously wasn't just riding. Keanu had to get off the saddle while in motion, go sideways, and keep on riding, holding onto the horse's neck. And at the same moment, he also had to shoot somebody. Again, because he's John Wick. But back to our canine friends. When you think about dogs in John Wick, you probably recall Sophia's frenzied pets right away. But in fact, these noble animals were an integral part of the entire franchise. After all, it all started with a dog's sad fate. Speaking of which, you probably have no idea that John's cute beagle puppy almost survived in the film. When the movie distributors read the script, they told the director that if the dog was killed off right at the beginning of the film, they'd alienate the audience, and no one would watch it. But they were oh so wrong, because it is this exact tragedy that made John so relatable. Oh, and here's one more fun fact about this puppy. You probably remember this cute scene. But do you know how the movie crew made the puppy lick Keanu's face? I mean, because you can't always just tell a dog to do something and expect it to do it, right? They spread bacon grease on the actor's cheeks. That's why the puppy licked him so enthusiastically. It was just having breakfast. Needless to say, Keanu enjoyed his scenes with the dogs. After all, if there's one thing Keanu Reeves and John Wick have in common, it's definitely their love for doggos.
Puppies.
Aw, isn't he cute? If you want to know more about how all the fight sequences were filmed, watch our other video that details how John Wick's special effects team made it all possible. And now, it's high time to pay respect to the lead actor of the film, Keanu Reeves, aka the nicest man in Hollywood. After all, there aren't many Keanus in the world, and we should appreciate him, right? Which reminds me, once Reeves was asked if he knows someone else who shares his name, because it's so unique.
Have you ever met another Keanu?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, I have a cousin.
It's actually so unique that at the beginning of his career, the actor's agent asked him if he would change his name. And Keanu thought about it for a while and came up with Chuck Spadina. Luckily, his agent didn't like it.
Chuck Spadina, isn't that kind of the direction you want?
Thank God, he didn't change his name. But whatever you call him, Keanu has always been known for his kind-heartedness. He knows how to entertain kids.
Oh, she's so cute. Look at that.
And he always has good relationships with his co-stars, especially with Sandra Bullock, who co-starred with him in Speed.
Excuse us for a moment.
Now, let's get back to Keanu's time in John Wick. Naturally, his co-stars were asked to recall when Keanu was especially nice to them on the set. And some of them couldn't name one because there were so many instances. For example, Lance Reddick, who played the concierge at the Continental Hotel, recalled how he asked Keanu a simple question, and Keanu replied in a very kind and gentle manner. Ian McShane's reaction to this story was hilarious.
Sorry.
Mark Dacascos, in his turn, said that absolutely everything Keanu did was extra nice.
He's so kind and humble and collaborative and welcoming.
And according to Asia Kate Dillon, who played the adjudicator, Reeves never behaved as if he was above anyone else.
He is so immediately, clearly humble, kind, gracious.
100%.
But, of course, that doesn't mean that he can't do anything wrong. When Keanu came to The Ellen Show, he admitted that he did hurt someone on the set at least once.
I didn't I kicked someone in the balls.
Of course, he didn't do it intentionally. I can only imagine how much he apologized to that man. And while everyone Reeves has ever worked with can't stop gushing over how nice a human being he is, he's still very humble. All he does is praise the people around him.
They were such wonderful people and really patient, and the instruction I got was first rate.
Indeed, this is a guy who would never say that he's better than anyone. He is always so modest. Once, a fan asked Keanu how he manages to stay so down to earth, and his answer was everything.
Well, I mean, gravity.
He has unbeatable logic, right? But we're sorry, Keanu, because even though you're so humble, we can't help but say something.
Do it. Say it.
You are breathtaking.
You're breathtaking. You're all breathtaking.
Do you love Keanu as much as we at Awesome Movies do? And which behind-the-scenes fact from John Wick surprised you the most? Share in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and stay awesome. Thanks for watching.